Welcome to Mr. Grimm's Realm of the Unseen. I'm Mr. Grimm, your guide to the supernatural and the spine-chilling. If you crave thrills and mysteries, you're in the right place. Hit subscribe and join me as we explore the darkest corners of the unknown. Are you ready to face your fears? In the small, seemingly idyllic town of Harborton, the police department was a pillar of the community, its officers known for their dedication and professionalism. However, beneath the surface of this tranquil town lay a festering rot of corruption that the townspeople were largely unaware of. Officers who were supposed to uphold justice had been quietly exploiting their positions for personal gain, from accepting bribes to turning a blind eye to illegal activities. The first sign of trouble came when Officer Miller, a known figure in the town for his unsavory dealings, disappeared. The community was alarmed but not overly concerned, as Miller was known to have made a few enemies in his line of work. Days later, his body was found in an abandoned warehouse on the outskirts of town. He was chained to a wall, his lifeless eyes staring vacantly. Next to him was a note written in a shaky crimson hand. "Justice will be served." The note struck a nerve with the remaining officers. They had their suspicions, but the case initially seemed like just another example of the city's violent crime. That was until the second officer disappeared. Officer Ramirez, a man who had been known for manipulating evidence to get convictions. His body was discovered in a derelict motel room, his corpse arranged in a grotesque tableau alongside a similar note. Corruption cannot hide. Fear began to seep into the fabric of the police department. The force had been infiltrated by internal rot for years, and now someone was targeting their corrupt members with a chillingly precise agenda. The town's residents began whispering about the vigilante as the unknown killer became known in the media. Harborton's once cherished peace was replaced by an atmosphere of paranoia and dread. The remaining officers found themselves under intense scrutiny. Private investigators were hired, but they made little progress. As the killer continued to target corrupt officers, it became clear that the vigilante knew far more about the police department's hidden dealings than anyone had previously imagined. The methods of each murder were meticulously crafted to expose the victim's wrongdoing, turning each crime scene into a grim message of accountability. Detective Claire Hughes, a seasoned officer with a reputation for fairness and integrity, was tasked with leading the investigation. Unlike her corrupt colleagues, Hughes had always fought for justice and was determined to uncover the identity of the vigilante before more lives were lost. She delved into the cases of the fallen officers, unraveling a web of corruption that intertwined with her own colleagues. One evening, Hughes received a chilling phone call from an anonymous source. The voice on the other end gave her a location and hinted that another officer's life was in imminent danger. The location was an old abandoned mansion, on the edge of town, a place with a sinister reputation and rumored to be haunted. Hughes arrived at the mansion to find a scene eerily reminiscent of the previous crime scenes. A victim, Officer Danvers, was chained in the mansion's cellar, his face reflecting both terror and resignation. The note pinned next to him was different this time. The truth lies in the shadows. The investigation intensified. Hughes began to suspect that the vigilante was someone with inside knowledge of the department, someone who had access to all the dirty secrets that had been hidden from public view. Her suspicions narrowed down to a few individuals, but proof was elusive. The situation reached a climax when Hughes was invited to a high-profile charity gala organized by the police department. The gala was an attempt to repair the department's public image after the scandals and murders. Hughes attended, knowing it was a potential trap. As the evening progressed, Hughes's suspicions grew. She noticed several officers acting unusually nervous. Suddenly, the lights went out. When they flickered back on, the scene was horrifying. Sheriff Daniels, the head of the department, was found dead in his office, surrounded by a wall of evidence of his criminal activities. The note next to him read, "Corruption ends with you." The aftermath was chaotic. The department was thrown into disarray, with members scrambling to distance themselves from the scandals, and public trust in the police was shattered. Hughes, though traumatized, felt a grim sense of relief that the killings had stopped. The vigilante had vanished without a trace, leaving behind a legacy of fear and accountability. In the years that followed, Harborton struggled to recover. The vigilante's actions had left deep scars, and the town was forever changed. The police department underwent extensive reforms, but the shadow of the vigilante lingered, a reminder of the thin line between justice and vengeance and the consequences of corruption.